Over the last 12 hours, here in the stock community, there's been a post that's gone viral over on X that sparked a lot of fear, worry, and concern in the minds and hearts of stock investors, to the point in which I've seen on my own YouTube videos and DMs people asking me, Tyler, should I sell right now? Should I get out of all of my stock positions? Should I just leave now and come back at the end of the year? I mean, this is a real thing that people are genuinely concerned about because of this one post that's gotten about 1 million views over the last couple hours. And naturally, when something big like this happens, I want to jump on and talk to you guys about what is happening from my own experience, because I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I have been in the market
Let's
for
see
the last
this
6 or 7
post.
years, and I've
I'm
done
curious about it.
well in it. And so I like to just give you my perspective as someone who sees what's going on from a bit of a different perspective every day. And so today what we're going to talk about is what that post said, why
Thank you.
some parts of this post are actually valid, and what I'm doing in my own portfolio as a result of the things that this post brought up. So this shouldn't take too long, and I don't want to waste your time, so let's get straight into it. But I
Curious
will let you
about
know,
this, actually.
the post we are going to be talking about today was brought to me by a good friend of mine named Sam from the Stock Channel. He's the one who actually brought it to my attention, so feel free to go give him a follow down below. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about a post that was made just yesterday by a guy named Ted Pillows over on X. And this post is very simple. It wasn't some big conspiracy theory. It had nothing to do with the government, nothing like that. It wasn't even crazy. It was simply just a post that highlighted the fact that from May to October, during midterm election years, like we're in right now, the S&P 500 has a strong tendency to not perform well. And if you go look at the last 60 years, 50, 60 years, that has been the case except for 1982. And the last time
So what happened in 1982?
we fell 19%. Time before that, maybe back in 2002, 30%. Time before that, 18%. 1990, 18%. 1974, 32%, 66 and 62, 21 and 21%. I mean, you look at the data, you look at the history, and you say, wow, yeah, maybe October's a really bad time here in the stock market on midterm election years. And we're in a midterm election year right now. And so as people started putting these pieces together, they started to genuinely consider, well, maybe, you know, while the S&P 500 is towards all-time highs and at $680, and you got things like NVIDIA and all these other stocks
Where is this
rallying,
one at?
maybe we should just get out. Maybe
Hello?
we just leave.
Oh, I didn't
right?
click
Come
on
back
it.
towards the end of the year and just.
That's what happens when you don't have Subo.
A lot of people are either don't want to lose the gains that they have or don't want to lose more money than they already have, right? And so it's a very valid concern. And before I actually answer whether or not that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm just going to sell everything. And
Why would you sell everything?
I do
Like, what?
acknowledge that those of
Panic
you who
sell,
are
freak the fuck out, it's over.
a little bit worried about this. I think it's legitimate because this could happen. From May to October, we could see the price of the stock market as a whole coming down and rebalancing and coming, you know, back down to good percentages. It's possible. And the reason I make this emphasis on this little moment here is because I'm new to the stock market world on YouTube, at least. I've only
Wow, I'm
been
gonna
doing content
fucking
about the stock market
fail.
for a few months now, okay?
Well,
But what
rip
I've come
me.
to recognize is that a lot of the creators in this space, no diss to them, but they're almost in this perpetual state
That
where they
sucks.
can never admit that something is a little concerning. Something could cause the market to fall. Something could cause the S&P 500 to fall, or that it just might. It seems as if everyone recognizes that since we're in a bull market, the easiest way to get views and subscribers is to be positive 24/7 and never acknowledge anything that genuinely could be of a concern. And I don't want to be that way. I don't really care if I get more or less views. I want those of you who are watching this to have the full perspective and an honest analysis on this market. And the truth is that based on history, midterm election years are not great from May to October, and that could imply that the next few months could be really rough for stock investors like you and like me. And so, yes, I do acknowledge that. And
We'll
I think
see.
that concern is valid. So it's not a question as to whether or not you should be concerned about this, or whether you should be paying attention to this or factoring this into your thesis. It's more a question of what are you going to do about it? And that's where I tend to disagree with a lot of the people who are giving their takes on this. So my perspective is that no, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to go into my own portfolio and start selling a bunch of stocks because I'm scared that the market's going to fall. And my honest reason as to why is purely anecdotal, based on pure personal experience. Listen, I've been in this space for 7 years. I've been investing for 7 years. And over the last 7 years, I've not seen every form of the market, but I've seen many different types of markets. I've seen wars, I've seen pandemics, I've seen pumps, I've seen dumps, I've seen Trumps, I've seen everything, right? And because of that, I have noticed every time that I decide I'm going to go in my own portfolio and sell some stocks because I'm worried or scared that the market's going to fall, typically because of a narrative that's going viral online, I almost always lose. I almost always lose. What ends up happening is I sell it, it fall, or you know, I sell it, it goes up. I feel
This is why you have a thesis. Whenever you invest in anything, you have an exit strategy and a plan on what you're gonna do. Don't let other people decide that for you, ever.
feel some FOMO, I buy back in, and then it falls. It's almost always what happens. Or I sell it, I don't FOMO back in, and then it just rallies up towards all-time highs, and I miss the ride. From my own personal anecdotal experience, again, I've just never had good experience with trying to time the market so perfectly as to get all the way in or all the way out. It just doesn't usually work for me, and I think most of you could probably agree.
Did I kill that? No.
Maybe one or two of you, but most of you, it doesn't really work that way. And so, no, I'm not going to go in and just start selling all of the positions that I've been working so hard to build, a VOO position that I've been building for 15 months that's up $64,000. No, I'm not going to do that because it doesn't seem to be the most reasonable to me. Now, again, does that mean that I don't think that it could be a rough few months? No, it could be a rough few months. That's not the question. The question is whether or not I was going to be selling.
It really depends on what you own, on how rough it's gonna be.
So the next question is then, well, what am I going to do? Because I'm not someone who ignores data. Because when you're given data, that increases your perspective. You have a wider perspective on the
Smart.
The stock market. And when
Yes,
you
sir.
gather extra data and have a widened perspective, I think you have a duty to yourself and your portfolio to use that data to mold your thesis. How are you then going to respond in your portfolio as a result of what you now know? I'm not a big person or a proponent of ignoring, and I'm not going to ignore this. And so my thought process is, okay, well, if I'm not going to sell because of this, what am I going to do? Well, then I
Diversify your portfolio.
Say, okay, well, if I'm not going to sell because of this, maybe I should buy. Because we all know from 1962 to 2022, the stock market has rallied. The stock market's gone up. It's put in gains that have actually generated generational millionaires. From 1962 to now, the last 56 years, it has been fantastic. You know, 40 years, 50 years. It's been fantastic for stock investors. And so if that is the case, knowing that from 1962, 2026, and again, that's how many years is that? That's 64 years, I believe so. Anyway, if we know over the last 64 years, this has been fantastic, even during these moments, it just means that these moments served as some of the best buying opportunities, right? I think you can kind of get that perspective that I'm gathering. If from 1962 to now, the market's gone up, and through that moment of it going up, we've seen pullbacks of 21%, 30%, 18%, 18%, 30%. That means that these were some of the absolute best times to be buying, because when the market does resume upwards, which it always resumed upwards since then, you would be able to print even more gains. And so rather than looking at it from the perspective of a seller, I'm looking at it as the perspective of a buyer.
There's everything down
What I'm
here.
saying, no, I'm not selling. Matter of fact, if this does come, if we do see this market start going down, I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to buy, because history has shown this has been one of the best times to be buying, not one of the best times to sell before it happened, because naive of you to assume that you can time this market perfectly, in my opinion. So no, I'm not a seller, I'm a buyer if this does occur. So yes, it may happen. No, I'm not scared. Yes, I will buy if we do have a rough May to October. And so how do I adjust going forward? Well, simply put, I save and stack a little bit of extra cash. Look, we're still seeing the S&P 500 near all-time highs. VOO is still at $680, just short of that big high that it put in a couple days ago, just under $700, right? So it is up a lot. This is not the best time to be buying as much S&P 500 as you possibly can. And so I'm going to continue to dollar cost average, but while I'm dollar cost averaging, what I'll do is, instead of putting in $100 or $1,000 or $10,000, I'll put aside 20% of that, 10% of that, 15% of that. What I normally would have invested, I'll invest just a little bit less, with the intention of saving up cash and capital on the side to then invest if this does come to fruition and if the market does pull back. And let's say it doesn't. Let's say the market doesn't crash. Well, great. I will still dollar cost averaging my way in, and I still have a big bucket of cash that I can use when it does inevitably fall, because it will inevitably fall at some point. Okay? So it's not so much about whether or not you should or shouldn't be concerned about this. It's more about what are you going to do. And I wish more people in the stock market understood that. You can't control whether it goes up. You can't control whether it goes down. You really can't even control your own emotions. You know, people always tell you, stop being so emotional on the stock market. Some of you can't help it. And God forbid, I go down $30,000 in one day and I'm a little bit upset about it, right? God forbid. But at the end of the day, what you can truly control is your response to the scenarios and the emotions that are presented to you. And my response to the idea that we could see May to October being a rough time is to determine that this is one of the best buying opportunities, if this is the case, and I'm going to capitalize on it by buying. And so for now, I'm going to start stacking up a little bit of extra cash than I was over the last few months and deploying that cash if given a fantastic opportunity to deploy that cash into some of my favorite stocks, and that's how I'm going to capitalize on the thing that everybody's scared of. Does that make sense? And that's the sort of perspective that I've gathered over 6 or 7 years, and I hope you find that valuable, because again, a lot of people say, no, we got nothing to worry about, don't worry about it, because they want to protect their views. I don't care about views. I don't care if you I don't care if you don't like me saying the market might go down. It might. What are you going to do about it anyway, right? And so that's what I wanted to update you all on today while everyone's freaking out about this. Now, I will let you guys know, I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to give you an update on what's been going on with Micron, what's been going on with AMD, what's been going on with NVIDIA and SoFi as well. I told you all that Monday was going to be a very, very important day for those three. I am going to give you that update. I'm just going to post it a little bit later today. And the reason why is I need to see what happens right now as they're falling through that 20-something moving average. That'll give me some more perspective, and then I'll know kind of what's going on and what I think is going to happen going into Wednesday, okay? So stay tuned for that. Just give me like, 8-10 hours. I'll post that one a little bit later on. But if you did enjoy today's video, again, guys, don't forget, this is a brand new channel. I've only been posting here for like 2 months. I don't even have 50 videos yet. So if you have enjoyed the content, if you have found it valuable, do please, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, if you do want to see what I am doing in my portfolio in real time as I do it, there is a link down below to the stock journal. It's completely for free. It's a resource that you can just download. And when you do download it, you're going to be able to see what I'm doing in my portfolio, my transactions, my reasoning, some notes I'm taking, some extra stuff like that. So feel free to check that out. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all later today in another video. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, that dude's making some good content. Pretty good content. Damn, all three of these are actually kind of good. I'm gonna max it though. I probably should have went with the chaotic wave, but we'll see. I want to see what Soulspire maxing does. Ooh. Ooh. A lot of damage coming in there. What the hell was that? Must be that lightning. Let's do this one. Could do Stalking Devil, but I think I'll do this.
Well, you gotta be flipping, not flapjacks. Service now stock getting rolling, right? Look at this, every single batch of shares now positive on service now. That's rocketing higher here today, $9,800+ move in service now. Congratulations to anybody that's been buying service now recently. I have shares as low as $85 and as high as 101 there in the public count. AMD's gone dormant the past week or so, right? It's kind of in like, you ever had a hangover? Kind of in that mode where it's like a lost day. But this stock has kind of been dormant for the past, we can call it a little over a week now at this point in time. A lot of people want to know where the stock is headed next. Micron, kind of a similar situation. People are wondering, has this stock already peaked or is there about to be another big run in Micron stock? The stock's down about 15% from the highs and hit right around 2 weeks ago or so. In this video here today, ladies and gentlemen, 4 core subjects we're going to get into. One is, I'm going to give some advice on this market run. Okay. Number 2, we're going to talk about AMD. Is it preparing for its next big run, or are we going to be sleepy on this baby for a while? I'll speak about that. Third subject up here, Micron, same exact thing. And the 4th subject we'll get into here today is a stock with major upside, ahead of my personal belief. And it's a very strong growth stock. So we're getting into all that in this video. One thing only I need from you guys. If you haven't already done so, smash that little thumbs up icon, that little thumbs up button. That would mean the world to me. That's all I need from you guys. A sign in my garage says, and I will be hanging that sign up color as well over here. Hopefully in the next few days. If you didn't know, we moved, and we're still in the moving process. My wife's been kicking butt and taking names as far as, you know, getting the whole house ready and situated and whatnot. She's handled so much of it, so I definitely appreciate her in a massive, massive way. Make sure you're subscribed here to the channel. This is my view from my office right now. It's just there. But you guys want a little sneak peek? This is what my view is going to be from my office very, very shortly. Not exactly this. I've changed some things around and mock-ups and whatnot, but roughly this. So that's what I'll be looking out to in, we can call it 4 to 6 months from now. So looking very, very forward to that. Since we're moving in, we got a whole new situation going on. I thought I would do a big sale for you guys. So we're doing a Memorial Day sale for my gold Patreon tier. This is my highest tier. This is the one that has the most demand. It's going to be a pretty spectacular sale. Usually that tier is $145 to get in. It'll be $49 for one day only. If you want access to the sale, that will be the pinned comment down there today. That's access to the buys and sells in my Patreon portfolio each week, access to become a master stock market course, and you get access to other things as well, but those are kind of the 2 of the main things. So yeah, that's my #1 stock market course ever, by the way. That is for the gold tier. Pinned comment down there and enter in your name.
Buy my courses, please. Buy them.
Okay.
I need to sell all my courses.
Listen, we've been in a bull market since Q4 2020, right? Very
correct.
Bull market. If you've been in the market last few years, you should have made a lot of money. I mean,
correct.
If you've been in the market last few years, bare minimum, you should have made tens of thousands of dollars. If you're a little bit bigger player, you should have made hundreds of thousands of dollars last few years. If you're a big dog, you should have made literally millions of dollars just since that Q4 2020 time frame. Right? No, we had 2 crashes prior to that, right? We had 2 crashes in less than 3 years span. We had the 2020 crash during Rona, right? It was only a few months crash, but it was brutal. It was like the fastest stock market ever done, right? And then we had the 2022 crash, which was a much longer time span, right? That one from the Q4 2021 peak to the Q4 2022 trough, the NASDAQ ended up falling right around 37% roughly, right? That was a long kind of time period in regards to that one. So that got everybody, a lot of investors to start thinking like crashes are normal. Like it's normal for the NASDAQ to just go down 30+%, like, you know, in a matter of months, right? That's not normal. That's not normal. We went through kind of a freakish time period there, right? And now people are anxious about the next crash. And they're thinking about the next crash, right? And they're seeing a lot of the stocks that have rocketed recently. Whether we go back to NVIDIA from a couple years ago, whether we go to AoD recently, and Micron recently, and SanDisk, and some memory chip plays, right? People are like, I don't know. They're anxious. They're ready for the next crash, right? Now, we look at the public count. We go back 3 years ago, public count's right around $1.4 million. Here today, it's right around $4 million, right? There's a lot of frustration from people that have been in cash the last few years. Remember, a ridiculous amount of people started to move to cash hoarding, essentially.
I remember that into 23. Yep.
Why did they do this? Well, there was a lot of fear around the stock market at that particular time, right? 2, interest rates went much higher than anything we had seen in the past, you know, really since the great financial crisis. So people started saying, you know what? I want to buy a 2-year treasury. I want to buy a 5-year treasury, a 10-year treasury, a 30-year treasury, right? And so people started thinking about buying treasuries in a way they hadn't for the longest time. You know, I can make 5% of my money over the next year. That's amazing. So a lot of people start to lock into treasuries back in 2022 and into 2023, thinking, oh, this is genius. I'm going to make an easy 5% guarantee, right? Oh boy, in the market the last few years, it ended up, there's always a catch, right? Whenever you think you got the easy money, listen, it always ends up being a catch. It does or not, right? All these people thought like, oh gosh, this is gonna be so amazing. I'm gonna take my money out of the stock market and just get 5% guaranteed. And it was a trap. You missed out on ridiculous money you could have made in the stock market the last few years. Like, oh my gosh. So then it's happened, and so there's a lot of pent up frustration from people that are, you know, in a situation where they're looking and they're like, man, can this market crash? And the thing is, they need a very, very powerful crash to even have it make sense for how much in gains they missed out on over time, right? So they're rooting for a crash, they're hoping for a crash, they're on the sideline with, you know, depends on how much money they got, hundreds of thousands.
I don't know why this didn't despawn, but I'll take it.
Waiting for this crash to happen.
I should have
right?
despawned.
So they can buy in for cheaper, right? So you get a lot of that commentary out there, a lot of people hoping for that, right? And additionally,
Oh, don't bug out on me, boy.
last thing, listen, there's been a lot of people on this run that have been trying to bet against the market. I can go all the way back to 2023. People were trying to bet against the market, thinking like the 2022 crash was just part of it. It's going to be a much more elaborate crash in 2023. So a lot of people got wrong. A lot of people went into 2023 and throughout 2023 were extremely skeptical and extremely bearish, right? Kept betting against the market and kept losing again and again and again. 2024, it's kind of similar. People started getting more bullish, but a lot of people still betting against the market, right? You know,
Oh my God, I knew that was going to happen.
out there, they're trying to bet against.
I looked away
the
for
chip companies and
literally a
you know,
second.
Stocks that have rocketed higher recently, and it's like, you know.
Oh my God, it's going to happen
We'll
again.
see about that. No, control what you can control. Two of the best football coaches of all time, right, in terms of leading their men into victory. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, one in the NFL ranks and one in the college ranks. Right? They have a philosophy on control what you can control, focus on the process. Right? Both coaches believe the external factors like scoreboard, the media, or your opponent are distractions. True success comes from mastering the daily preparation, adhering to strict standards, and executing your specific job. Ignore the noise. Belichick famously tells his teams to block out external distractions. Saban echoes this by asserting that the score or your opponent shouldn't change your level of relentless effort. Focus on the work rather than stressing over the outcome of a game. The demand 100% focus on the micro steps required to get the job done. Discipline and execution. That's what these men believe, right? And they're more successful than anybody we've ever seen at this, you know, sports. It's incredible, right? What they've been able to get out of their athletes over the years, right? And so in the stock market, you got to understand there's a lot of distractions out there. There's a lot of, you know, talk and blah, 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 right? And none of that you can influence or factor. You can't control whether the stock market crashes next year or whether it goes up 20% next year or whether it's flat next year. You can't control what the hot sectors are going to be, what the hot stocks are going to be next year, right? You can control what you can control. So I'll give you an example of like what you can actually control versus worrying about stuff you can't control, right?
Warriors.
We have the dopamine part, right? That allows you to make a bunch of watch lists around your stocks, right? That's not where your focus should be. It's cool to like see, okay, my stock's up today, down today, right? Or should I buy this stock or not, right? But this is where your focus needs to be, right? Looking on companies' valuation.
What's this?
12-month EPS growth.
Thousand Eye
Next year's
Reaver? No
expected
idea what that
EPS
is.
growth, right? Comparing companies versus each other. That's where your focus should be.
Yeah, no, this
Looking
is
at your
useful.
charts of your companies and where the actual fundamentals of your companies are going over time. Not the stock prices. The stock price going up or down. No. The actual fundamentals. That's what we focus on in our charts feature, right? The reports, running basic level reports and the hedge fund level reports right through 1000x.
Oh,
right?
this is
That's
pretty
your focus,
good.
learning about your company's
Pack
depth,
to bone.
looking at the financials,
If I can get a mythic charm, that'd be
learning your
pretty nice.
projections on where this company should go
'Cause that would
over the years,
basically-
if their
well,
revenue goes here, their net
does
income
that
goes here,
count?
and their PE ratios go here, right?
That should, right? 35x?
Earnings calls. We even have the AI transcripts in there. All
Yeah,
that
if I
stuff.
get if I can get a
That's
mythic
where the
gem,
focus needs to
that'd be nice.
Not worrying about is the stock
what are we
market going to
doing?
go up or down, right? So the distractions you have to deal with in the stock market. Who's president? The amount of people that have missed out on so much money because their guy was not the president of the United States is astronomically high. And the amount of people that freak out because this guy's in office or that guy's in office. Listen, you know, when I first got in the stock market, it was the end of George Bush or George W. Bush, right? And then Obama came in, and then it was Trump, and then it was Biden, then it was Trump, right? Who cares? Like, you know, invest under any president. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are, or whether you think this guy's running the country into the ground, or this guy's doing great. Don't focus on that, okay? Geopolitics, what's going on in China, and what's going on in Taiwan, and what's going on here, and what's going on there, right? All a big distraction for you, and then to freak you out of the market, right? Market talk. See, all these people trying to time the market, they're going to sell all their stocks, and they're going to buy back in, they're going to sell all that. But listen, none of that is going to end up making you money. It's just going to end up costing you a fortune. The more you're worried about who's the president and geopolitics and trying to time the market, and is the market too high, and oh, it hit an all-time high, maybe it's going to go down.
The man's telling the truth.
It's just going to end up causing you to lose.
This man is telling the 100% truth. It don't matter. At the end of the day.
I've been in this game, what, 17 years, 18 years? I've seen it time and time again. The focus needs to be on finding great companies and investing in those great companies and tracking those.
Yep.
Making sure you listen.
Absolutely correct.
Everything's right where you need to be. Grade those income statements when they come out. That's where the focus needs to be. Not on trying to throw darts at a dartboard on, like, you know, is the market going to go down next month or not? Like, you know, I've just watched so many people miss out on so much money. If you want to sell stocks, it needs to be because your companies are.
I was playing with fire right there with that little,
and you're looking at
little step back.
Money to be made in this company because when I run my projections, I'm only getting a 7% CAGR over the coming years, and I got other companies I can get a 15% CAGR, or I got better opportunities for my money out there. That should be your selling decisions, not the stock market might go down next month, so I need to sell my stock. No, you can't predict that. I don't know one person on the planet that can do that. The greatest investors of all time, they can't do that. I've been in the market forever. I can't do that. You can't do that. And so that's just a whole gambling decision. You want to gamble? Come to my city, man. Come to my city. Go down to Vegas. You know, go down the strip. I look out through it every night. It's beautiful. Go down there and have some fun. You want to gamble? Don't gamble in the stock market. Go play some craps, okay? Go play some blackjack. Go play some baccarat, okay? That's what you go do if you want to gamble. Don't gamble your money in the freaking stock market. What are you doing, man? Focus on great companies, investing in them, building a stronger and stronger portfolio over time. And quit costing yourself fortunes of money, right? I learned when I ran track in college, right? I learned something very valuable at that moment that I've adopted in my whole life ever since. Like, I learned very early on, I cannot control how fast other people in my race run. I cannot control the weather conditions and whether we got to run into a headwind or we got a tailwind behind us. It's completely out of my control. God, whatever you want to do with the weather is whatever it is. However fast somebody else runs, it's irrelevant to me. I need to focus on my race. I need to focus on my training. And that's what I learned. And I'm like, I'll do my training and I'll, you know, routine, and then I'll do extra training afterward. And I'll focus on me and I'll get up the range faster that way, right? And I saw success in doing that. And so I've carried that throughout my life ever since. And that's what you need to do in the market. Don't focus on everybody else. Don't focus on all the talk and the distraction. Focus on you. Focus on building your portfolio and making sure you're finding the next great company to invest in. That's the name of the game. Speaking about great companies that are phenomenal companies, we're talking AMD. Let's go AMD. Okay. So, listen, regarding AMD, if you look at the forward P of the stock, it looks expensive, right? 63 forward P of the stock, that's about triple where an average stock is about trade at, right? Now, keep in mind, this is very important everybody understands this question. Listen. That 63 PA is probably way lower in reality. It might be a 50, it might be in the 40s, because the profitability over the next 12 months is likely going to be way better than Wall Street is anticipating. Lisa Su, if you look at her track record, she continuously comes in and beats numbers. She's very rare ever comes in and misses numbers. She's usually going to come in and beat estimates again and again and again. Now, we're also going through a time period when their GPU demand is about to take off like a rocket ship over the next several years, and CPU demand, the big dog, is now seeing way stronger demand than anybody anticipated, including myself. Even bulls like myself, AMD is my biggest position in the public count.
So what he's getting at here with CPU demand is Lisa Su in the earnings call last week or the week before, I don't remember, basically said generative AI went from 1 to 6 CPU to GPU ratio to a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning AMD is in prime position to make a lot of money, due to the fact that used to be for every 6 GPUs sold, 1 AMD GPU could be sold. Now it's 1 AMD GPU could or CPU could be sold for every 6 GPUs. Pretty insane potential. That's also why Intel's stock ballooned.
It's even like way bigger in terms of CPU demand than I thought. Than even
Yep.
Lisa Su thought. So what's going to happen with CPU pricing over the next year and the next several years?
Oh yeah, they're going to go up.
Way higher than any of us had
Absolutely.
anticipated. So
So a good time to buy a CPU would be yesterday. Better time is right now. Or I should say the opposite. But yeah, you understand what I'm saying. If you're building a computer, I would not wait, because it's going to cost you even more money than it already cost you.
margins and the profitability is going to be likely way more extreme than anything we anticipated. So even if you look at a 2-year forward P now, it's
I hate this
very
fight.
expensive, 23.
It's not terrible though.
End up being, it might end up being way lower than that.
I don't know if I've done this on Tournament 12. Now I think about it.
On the stock right now. It might be a 7. Like we don't know. We just know it's in a stage where profitability in margins is going to be way better than anybody anticipated. So basically, you're in a time period when AMD is going to have a little bit of trouble moving off of fundamentals because everything is just going to get more
Damn
and
it.
more and more exciting.
I didn't do enough burst.
And so the bottom line is, what do you know when you know a stock like this? It's just going to go higher, right? And where it's going to top at is debatable. But that's why I told you guys, I could see AMD, even though my projections, when I run my projections, I have AMD going to $1,000 over the next few years. I wouldn't be surprised if AMD went to $1,000+ this year or next year. Way ahead of where I expect them to go, because the market doesn't move in perfect, like, oh, it's going to go to 1,000 in this, specific year because now they're at this net income. In a perfect world, that would work, but the stock could run to 1,000+ this year or next year based upon pricing in the future, right? Because that's what stocks do. And especially popular companies like AMD, a lot of times they price in the future. And so AMD's on a heck of a run. And, the next big thing you got to keep in mind here, the next big thing in terms of moving the stock price is this. NVIDIA. NVIDIA's coming out with
Wednesday
earnings.
earnings.
Okay, literally in a couple days from now. If
Yep.
NVIDIA rolls, by the way, I like that price on NVIDIA. If it was, I would be tempted to buy the stock if it's $222.22. It's $222.
Oh, this is not a terrible pair of boots, actually.
Listen, if NVIDIA rolls this week, you're going to see AMD go 500+ fast. But NVIDIA's got to roll. So NVIDIA's got to come in with much better numbers, commentary than anybody anticipated.
I think these boots are better than mine.
I mean, it's tough. It's a big bar for NVIDIA. It's tougher than ever for NVIDIA to kind of shock and awe now, because we've been so used to it the last several years, right? AMD's in an exciting stage because they're at the beginning of that process, kind of like the shock and awe phase, right? So it's super exciting. NVIDIA, it's tougher. They can still do it. It's just a more challenging environment for them to do it, right? Because they've been doing that for years now at this point in time, right? And so we kind of got used to it. So now for NVIDIA to press, they've got to really just come through with something crazy, right? Or a crazy conference call, right? And so if NVIDIA rolls this week, next thing you know, you see NVIDIA 250, 260, 270. Don't be surprised if you see AMD 500+, because that will pull that, the whole ETF up. That will pull all semiconductor stocks up. They'll bring even more excitement around AMD and what the demand potential is there.
See,
So
that'll work.
that's
It's
something to
close
keep in
enough
mind.
for
Now,
me.
if NVIDIA falters, stock falls a bit, AMD could chill a little bit more, maybe go down to 400 or something like that. So do keep that in mind, okay? NVIDIA, by the way, Wednesday after the bell, and there is ELF on the shelf also reporting, which, this video is not about ELF, but I can't wait for ELF's numbers and the guidance and everything.
ELF is a good company being the
In
beauty.
regards to ELF, by the way, it's a buy before earnings, it's a buy after earnings. I don't care, honestly, what happens with ELF stock. ELF stock could go down 20% on earnings, is a bigger buy than ever. ELF could go up 20%. It's still a huge buy. Anything under $100 on ELF is a steal deal. And so the further it is under 100 is insane, right? And so it's a load the boat before, it's a load the boat after, regardless of the results. ELF, exciting stuff. Okay. Next one up here, Micron. So Micron's an interesting one. Different dynamic than AMD and NVIDIA, right? It gets put obviously into the whole.
Oh my God!
But always understand, these memory chip companies are always the most disrespected companies in pretty much in the stock market. They're even more disrespected than honestly the oil and gas giant, which is a whole level of disrespect, right? And the reason being is these companies go through huge ups and down cycles, right? right? Where, you know, one moment it's like their earnings
Are
per
you
share, their
kidding
revenue,
me?
Their margins are just up and to the right and just going insane. It's like, how is that company making so much money? What
Oh
is
my
going on,
God.
right? And the next thing you know, on the downward cycle,
There we go.
the
Jesus.
profitability just plummets. Now, usually there's a plateau period in between those.
What do I
So,
want here?
You know, it's like the company's revenues are going insane, margins are going insane, profitability is going insane.
Probably the
and then it starts
int.
to kind of flatline for a year or two.
But
And
let me
then
see what
usually
this
after
is.
the flatline phase, there's a massive down cycle, which is brutal to go through. The margins plummet, usually not for quarters, but for years, before finally a plateau stage happens again, and
Take
then
a
the
look.
next upward cycle. And so Micron's very exciting right now because they're in the upward swing of a cycle, right? Where
What's the int there right now,
revenue,
compared?
margins, profitability going insane. And
Yeah,
will
let's
likely
do it.
continue to for at least the next 2 years, and then we
Okay.
can debate if it's 3 years.
Int's
4 years,
better,
5
max
years,
life's
10
better,
years, over
armor's
cycle.
less,
No,
all resist
MU
less.
could make a move to 1,000 plus if these.
This is
estimates
probably
go
not
low,
gonna be
right?
better.
Now a lot of people look at
Unless
this
you get
and
a
they say,
godly
4 Ps
transfigure.
are so low, 2 or 4 Ps. That's what happens when MU's in a big.
Not a
upward
godly
cycle.
transfigure.
Like they usually get down to under a 10 forward P when they're in a big upward cycle. This is
Well, that was a waste of time.
right? But if these numbers
Alright, I was
are
on
actually, you know,
45?
let's say the forward
I think I was
P
on
in reality
50.
is much lower, then you could see the stock make a move to 1,000 plus, right?
Or was on
But
40.
the issue with Micron.
Let me look at my. I don't remember what I was on. I'm gonna watch the old stream. It's the advantage of having a stream. Torment, pit 35. So I'm on pit 40.
And the reason it's going to be harder for Micron to, let's call it eclipse AMD's move over the next whatever amount of time we want to throw at it, right? Is not just because of disrespecting the business model, but because Micron's already around peak margins. Listen, this year
They're at 70% margins. 60, yeah.
I don't even know how that's possible. All I know is that's not sustainable at all. At all. The 60% net margins on any company is not sustainable at all, but especially for a company like Micron. So this company's already in a phase for the next year or two where it's as good as you get in regards to Micron. That's not sustainable. To give you some reference, right? Remember, this is a memory chip company. A memory chip company. To give you some reference on this, NVIDIA, which has the most insane margins ever, and they have, there's nowhere else you can go to get chips of NVIDIA's caliber, right? AMD's pretty darn close now at this point in time, but there's nowhere else you can go.
Oh, not even close.
Several different suppliers.
They had, if AMD had CUDA in the same ballpark, yes, maybe.
You know, depending on if I need NAND.
But no,
DRAM,
not even
right?
close.
NVIDIA, you can't. They have the one-on-one, and every big tech company in the world wants their specific chips, right? Even NVIDIA is not at 60% plus net margins. They're in the 50s, which is still insane, right? Insane for a company to have those sorts of net margins. If I show you 3 of the greatest business models in the world, you're going to think of Apple, you're going to think of Meta, you're going to think of Google. My gosh, are those great business models, right? Net margins on Apple, 27%. Net margins on Meta's around 33%. And net margins on Google McDougal around 38%. So, the moral of the story is, Micron's 60% net margins are not sustainable long term. Their net margins over time will go back to more like a 20% range. It's not going to happen in the short term because their demand's so insane, but it will happen over the longer term. So that's something to keep in mind. And that's what kind of puts a lid on Micron's stock price for a bit, right? So that's why I'm like, there could be more upside in Micron. I couldn't make a run to
At
it,
least until
but we
2028,
need
I
to- we need
can
to
see about
even way
50%
better
over
profitability
net margins.
than people anticipated, right? And when you start talking about these sorts of net margins on this company, it's going to get hard to push it up higher and higher and higher, right? And so, just something to keep in mind. And Micron stock will peak years before the profitability peaks. So that's
Says.
the thing you got to understand about Micron.
I've never seen this.
The stock price could peak
It's worse
even
than.
this year, right? Let's say Micron goes on another big run.
It's okay.
Goes
It's
to $1,200.
pretty heavily defensive.
Possible. That could be the peak for Micron for the next several years, even though profitability cycle maybe doesn't peak till next year or 2028 or maybe even 2029. That's what happens with these stocks. And I can give you example over history, even.
Alright, what are we
Micron's
trying to
stock,
level up?
that example.
Helltide, Undercity,
Stock price peak
Layer
way
Bosses, Infernal
before
Horde.
the profitability cycle peaks, right? And then the company will keep coming through with great numbers, and people keep buying the stock, and they're like, why is the stock not going up? It's so cheap, it's reporting great numbers. And then next thing you know, eventually they keep holding the stock. They still haven't made any money. And the profitability.
Yeah, do
starts to
3
erode.
hell tide in a row.
Because now they
Should be
start
fun.
going through a down cycle. The margins start to erode. They're starting to go through a down cycle. And people are like, the freak. Next thing you know, you're down 50% on the stock. The best time to buy micro stock as an investor, trader is, that's a whole different game. If you're trying to trade in and out of the stock, who knows? It can go from 600 here to 1200 to 1000, whatever, right? That's all debate. Trading will throw darts at the dark horse. But as far as an investor, always remember with a stock like micro or semiconductor stock, for example, you want to buy those stocks when no one believes in them, when the sector is just meant to make it tick. That's when you go and buy those stocks. And that's when you can pick up shares for insanely cheap. Now those stocks will
So what happened to Facebook? That happened to AMD earlier in 2024, 25 in April.
Or the trailing 12-month P might look really high.
Micron was $64 in April too of 2025.
Micron as an investor, trader is a whole different thing. As an investor,
But they also had a
about investing in those companies next week.
crazy, unprecedented RAM.
Usually best to buy when it's at a
Yeah, it's not happening again. So it's like
So
that's a.
good time to buy
I would
Micron
argue that's a once in a lifetime buy.
if it's at like a
You're not going to get a buy like that again.
and you're looking at it
At
like,
least not
wow,
with memory.
Micron used to have 4 P of 8. 8's the dangerous part. That once again, from a trader perspective, you might be able to ride it and have some fun. But from an investor perspective, it's almost like opposite of what you usually want to do in the stock market. You want to buy them when, and I can show you time and time again, when Micron was a very high PE, and it was actually a great time to buy a stock, because that means they're at like a trough of the profitability cycle and they're about to go through a major upward cycle. I hope this wasn't too, advanced talk for some people out there. If you're newer to the market, it might be a little more advanced, but for people that have been watching me for a while, you probably are enjoying this discussion. But this is the way it works with stock market. And it can work with other semiconductor stocks as well. And also pay attention to commentary on the stock. AMD, when I was talking about loading up on AMD last year and into the, it was at the end of 2024, I think when I first started my position, right? And I was loading up shares last year. Oh my God, the commentary was so negative. Even on the channel, people call it advanced money decimator, all of that stuff about it. And
Yeah.
that's usually a great time to pick up a stock. And with a lot of negativity, that's how it works with these stocks, right?
It's one of the reasons I'm looking at Nike right now.
That's when you got to step back and you got to be a little bit more fearful of semiconductor stocks. When everybody's just got good things to say, that means they're probably toward the end of a stock price cycle. It doesn't mean like that day it's going down, but you're toward the end. Like the big money's already been raised. That's the way it's like a bandwagon situation. It's funny the way it works in regards to stocks in general, but especially semiconductor stocks. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. And so that's the situation with money. It might have one more big run. And so we'll see. Right? But 60% net margins are not sustainable. As anybody in the stock market, they're gonna, if you know anything about stocks, it's not sustainable over the long term. Right? Okay.
If demand never ends, it could be sustainable for years.
Here's the growth stock.
It depends on the demand.
I've been buying a lot of shares the last few months. This is one that, the whole, listen, it's a SaaS company, obviously, right?
ServiceNow, I'm guessing is what he's talking about.
These stocks are just, the commentary is just so negative. No one has anything nice to say about these companies. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the stock we're about to talk about, or we're talking about service, or Salesforce, it doesn't matter. Intuit, Adobe, anything in the SaaS space is just, it's so negative on the stock, right? And this particular company, ServiceNow, I love this stock.
I use them at work and I hate them, but their stock is good.
Even after today's big move, it's still cheap. Okay, $103, market cap under $100 billion in the stock, right? This is a trailing 12-month revenue chart of this company. This is where we're expected to go here, all right? This is the earnings per share. This is where we're at right now on a trailing 12-month basis. This is where we're expected to go, right? It's top tier.
Those are fine.
This is a free cash flow of the company on a trailing 12-month basis. Just a top tier business model, right? Free cash flow.
Do I need
per
Vex?
share
I think I need
of this company.
Vexes.
Here's the best part. We're watching all these charts go up and to the right.
No.
But guess which one has gone down and to the right? The one you really want to see go down. And it's historical PE. You used to have to pay, ridiculous prices for ServiceNow in regards to PE ratios. And now we're way down here. Now you get ServiceNow for cheap. So everything's better than it's ever been at ServiceNow, right? But you get the stock for as cheap as you ever would have thought you could get this stock for, right? Look at the operating cash flow of this company and the trend there. Look at the operating income of this company and the trend there. They're one of the biggest AI beneficiaries, in my opinion, over the next several years. Keyword several years for this company. And so, you know, if you really want to go in depth with ServiceNow and you have access to 1000xstocks.com, first generate an entry-level report and learn about this company. In a matter of 10 to 15 minutes, you'd be shocked at how far up you can get without knowing that much about ServiceNow. And then once you've gone through that, then generate a hedge fund level report on 1000x about ServiceNow. And be prepared to be like, ooh, man, like this company has some pretty incredible opportunities. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I appreciate you for joining me as always. Once again, our big one-day sale for the gold Patreon tier will be coming. That will be the pinned comment down there for access to that. See them.
This is an interesting video. Didn't really talk about much, so. This one's probably good. This is better. Don't want greatly increased health. Sure, because I have a multiplier. So it's like 3.5 or something. want to do greatly increased health. Let's do this. Does this count like the enemies that drop a killed in range? Where is it at? Enemies killed in range have a 33% chance to drop one Aether. Does this make that 2.5? I'm curious. I'm gonna see if it does. Because this is a pretty weak run so far, so. Do I need to kill this thing? What does this do? I think it does, actually. I don't know. I can't tell. It's hard to tell. I need to kill both of these. I don't have enough damage. It's not hitting. Unfortunate. Wait, did I get them both? I think I did, actually. I did, but it didn't drop anything, so I guess I didn't. Oh, these all suck. Not good enough. Damage is weak. Sure. I don't understand why this is even there. This run's horrendous. We'll be lucky to get 600. Well, that sucks. What do we have here? Doesn't look like anything. Weapon damage and... Nope, nope. Nope, nope. All right, Helltide for the rest. "17 minutes to knock out a bunch of chests." I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to do this. Maybe. Mhm. Man, I missed out on that. On that health spire. Oh well. Well, I deserve that. Alright, let's go to this other one. I absolutely hate that area. Let's try this thing. What the fuck? My game is lagging right now. Okay, I'm gonna open one more, but I don't have enough. Maybe we can get to 75 one. I don't have enough time. Yeah, I don't have enough time. If I didn't die, I would have had it, but yeah, whatever. Almost. That sucks.
It is done.
Step up to my anvil.
Soul brand. Liquor step. There's no hell tied up, is there? Oh, there is. Yeah. Sanctuary is at peace. World boss, 3 minutes. I guess I'll do that world boss.
Let's go.
Haven't done a world boss in a while. It's probably not worth doing, but let's take a look. What the hell world boss is this? Asmodean. Asmodean. Oh no, he's summoned. This thing's probably gonna get one hit. Wow, what an exciting content. Exciting. Top tier content. I'll be back. Top tier content. What the oh god, I set that as my...
Nice. Hey? There. It's worth terrible. Can't stop there. Come on, one more.
That's it for that.
Oh no, I lost all my loot. Well, that's unfortunate, sir. Oh no, anyways. I mean, that's okay for leveling. Alright, what's next? Trying to get a Helltide. There should be a big Helltide. Sure. Sure. No.
Could you spare a
No. I'll just hang around here. Just do that. Okay. I don't need to do events anymore, do I? I think I'm good on events, so. Hell is that? Oh. Sure, I guess I'll do this.
A roll.
Yeah.
Yep. What you doing?
Nothing, just farming. I'm trying to get a mythic seal, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. I've yet to see one.
I'll run with you.
I'm just doing Helltide and war things, war plans.
I need to do more stuff. I haven't leveled them.
More what? Oh, war plans?
Hmm.
Got you.
You know where to find me.
It's okay, not great. I need bosses, so we can do a boss.
I have one mythic tribute armament.
For Mephisto?
The thing for the Undercity thing.
Oh, nice. Those are like, the time on that is pretty tight.
Yeah.
You have to do a Infernal Horde and then Undercity after, if you want to do an Infernal Horde.
Yeah, let me go look at my board real quick and see. Infernal Horde and then what?
Undercity and then another Undercity.
And they can't all be winners, can they?
Okay, I'll do Undercity and then
Damn, that was almost good.
2 pits, an Undercity, and then a boss.
All right, what are we doing? Infernal Horde?
Oh yeah, whatever you needed to do.
I don't know if it still bugs out, but you might have to like join on me. I know when I did Infernal Horde earlier, it like bugged out and like kicked me out. I'll do a Soul Spire one. Did they add something to like the party, to the mini map? You can see my like, footsteps. Is that always there?
I don't see it.
That's weird. with the juicy boys. Oh, almost died. Where'd all these things come from? Goblinos. The Goblino. Did we get it?
think so.
Fucking, I can't even see it. Like, it just blends in with everything else.
I just have to stare at the mini map. Is the only way I can see it.
These suck. Double goblin. Oh no. I thought it was a double goblin. Oh god, that's so much damage. That like electricity was like a million electricities.
Yeah, and like Goblin was hiding in all of it.
I guess I'll do the butcher because these other two suck for what we're doing. I don't know if we have the damage to kill it.
Goblin to the south.
Gotta kill the butcher. We did it.
Pretty sure I didn't do anything.
You juiced it. Masses. I guess I'll do that. Reform. Masses reform on death. I don't know where the goblin went. What the fuck? I think we killed it, but I don't even know.
I was wondering when you're almost. I don't know if it's multiple spawning or the one just like disappears
It's
for
like
a minute.
every time an event spawns, there's a chance a goblin can spawn. So when the mass dies, it can reform an event essentially. So it has a chance to spawn a goblin. This is a pretty good run though. Not terrible.
It's the most I've ever gotten.
We can actually open a chest. We did it. We still can't open up the 1,000 boy though. We're juicers. Little babies unable to open the thousands.
Oh, it is a waitress, isn't it?
Alright, I need a caressed Undercity.
What happened? Sorry, I was died for a second. I have that one if you want to do it.
Yeah, we can.
I'd always just do them on 10 because, like, I just wanted to make sure I finished them, but you're like a lot faster than me.
We could try it on 12. I mean, I don't know if you're fine with wasting it if we don't get it. I think we
don't
could
have
do
it
it,
in
but
there. Is there any preference on the like offensive legendaries, defense, utility,
Oh,
weapon?
no, I don't care.
I'm gonna do jewelry because I'm trying to get a ring.
Before you move, just look to see the time because we have to rush to the time ones. 45, so we're going straight right. Okay. It's like the first like burst is the hardest part of this. I've like almost lost a run once or twice because of that first burst. And then you have to get the time things. They're like worth doing. Alright, we should be okay. Oh my god. This one's fucking retarded. This is what happened to another one I did. That boss gives like 200 seconds. That boss is worth doing. Going down. How much health does that thing have? Jesus. It was easy. We got lucky that that boss was there. It probably would have been harder. The boss adding 100 seconds makes it like easy. I don't know if there's always a boss in this difficulty. I got a Tyraels and a Melted Heart of Seagull. I'm assuming you got your Tyraels, right?
Yeah.
Mine
One of
did
those
not.
things where you just like farm for it.
Taken apart.
Like farm for a good one.
Yeah. Mainly you just want to get the DR on, or the Ascension on the DR. That's like the main thing you care about. What do I need? Yom, Black. Need jaw runes. Let's see if I can. What is jaw? I forgot.
Let me see what I have next.
Sim, any rune, any ritual. Okay, let's see what I got. I don't have rituals, so can't do jaws. Yeah, it's not enough. Let's see. Matza, Neo, Cry, Jaw, Q, Sim, or Sim. Need that.
I have another Undercity and then 2 pits.
Alright, I have another Undercity.
I got a Andariel's and the Ring of Starless Skies.
The ring's pretty good. I'm just doing a yellow
Yeah.
one.
I don't need what's it called though at all?
What?
Attack speed.
Oh. Are you in this?
I hit accept.
Okay.
So I gotta like manually click on it.
I think so. Okay.
What are those little portals that pop up?
That's my like perk or whatever you want to call it. The little like, I don't know, whatever the hell thing is.
What's
Like
it
it has a
do?
chance. It has a chance to spawn a goblin. It's the only reason I did it. Most of the time, it drops like crafting stuff. Like when you kill the stuff that comes out, it has a high chance to drop like crafting. Like at the end of the run, just increases the crafting you get. It was mainly for when I was leveling, but I wanted it for the goblin. I don't know if I'm like a fan of it, but in this thing, all of the little things suck from what I've seen. They're like not really, I don't know, they're not good. I would say most of the like little skill trees are not very good. Like there's some good ones that like allow you to target farm, like the boss ones are good. So you're not forced to like do, what is it, the escalation dungeons all day. You can just like target farm like something else.
blocked.
How many of these do I got? Let's do a little bit more. Yeah, a few more. Says. Alright, it's not worth. Oh, what's this? Was this a transmog? That's cool. All right, I have a pit. I was gonna do a pit 45 because that's where I'm at on this thing.
Okay, I need to do 2 pits.
That's fine.
On what thing?
The secret boss, pit boss or whatever. I just wanted to get the achievement. Gotta find him on this level. Like every 5 levels, you have to like click on some slab or something. I just don't know where it's at. It's usually at like a dead end.
You always emote when you're near it, right?
Yeah, you'll emote, but like it takes a second for the emote to happen. Of course, this is like a gigantic fucking... Oh, God. Well, the pit's over. We can still do it, though.
Kill a butcher instantly.
Yeah. Is there an upgrade on this? 0%. So I'm gonna go try to find it because I think you can still do it after the pit. I had a pit the other day where I did like the butcher, and it was like after the first turn of the pit. I was like, what is this? The world record pit holder.
You have this thing for XP instead of...
Oh, it's over here. It's at me. If you want it. XP
Yeah.
instead of what? That's pretty
Instead
cool.
of leveling your thing up.
No, I didn't do that one. It's probably good to do though.
You have to do it in order, or you just have to do it on every one.
It doesn't matter. You just have to do it every 5. It's just the remembering which ones you're doing. It's the hardest part. So I started at 5 and I've just been going up every 5 pit levels anytime I do a pit.
It is done.
You said you need to do another one?
Yeah.
I run pit 50. It's a dead end, but it's not that way.
Right here, where I'm at. What up?
Drift asleep. Drift king asleep. Where's this thing at? Where's it at?
I don't know if you saw it since I had the thing. The soul thing right here.
I see it, but I can't really
You
do
can interact
anything.
with it.
Yeah.
Every point that you could try to up level, you can click on it and it gives you a bunch of XP orbs.
Yeah, I did the loot one. I think they all suck though. Just like, I don't know. Ooh, I'll take that red blessing. I'll take these two actually as well. That's not bad. Thank you.
Taken apart, melted down.
What do you have?
Back to it then.
How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is Deck Ready, my channel all about Steam hardware. And in today's video, we have a ton of new updates related to the Steam Machine to cover. And after that, I was forced are not subscribed to it. So if you're one of those people, help me out by subscribing and setting your notifications to all.